So this is strategic management, chapter 3, vlog number 3. Um, excuse me. I got a good bit out of this. My main takeaways were employee replacement cost and employee exit cost. Um, you know, especially employee replacement cost, because just say you hire somebody and you put all the time and the money into that person to train them, and then in, you know, 2 months they leave. Well, you didn't get your money back out of that person in 2 months. The money and the time that you put into them to train them to do that specific job, um, they didn't work there long enough for you to recoup that money. So that is a struggle that pretty much every company faces, because especially nowadays, because people job hop, and honestly people don't like to work, don't want to work, they want stuff handed to them. But that's another story for another time. Anyway, so that's employee replacement cost. And another thing is with employee replacement cost is, depending on the job, like, you got to have some jobs require certain skills. Um, Not like, for instance, being a mechanic. Okay, you hire somebody that's had experience in mechanicking. Even if you have to send them off and were to be trained in a specific area, having that experience is valuable. And then if you hire somebody that has zero experience, obviously they're not worth as much to you. So that experience is valuable. And if you've got a person that is very knowledgeable and very experienced and knows what they're doing, whenever when they if they leave, if and when they leave, it is very hard to replace that person. Um, Replacing quality people is extremely hard typically, um, because most of the time the skill sets that are needed, um, or desired, there's not many people out there that have them, so it's really difficult to replace that person. Um, an employee exit cost. Um, so when people leave, like when employees leave, obviously it costs you money. Kind of hinting at what I hidden at what I said before. Like, you put all the time and money and effort into that person, and then they leave, then you wasted that money if they left pretty quick. And also, depending on the person and how it goes down, um, they could file for unemployment, which means typically, from to my knowledge in Arkansas, the unemployment is, I think, 6 months. So you would have to that person would get paid for 6 months based off their salary they made while working for you. Um, so that costs money too. So it's never a good thing when employees leave, um, especially if they're really valuable to your company. Um, but obviously, under certain circumstances, it's okay. But it's hard to keep valuable employees. Um, but that being said, if you treat them right, if they work in a good environment, and you pay them what they're what they're worth, then they'll be much more likely to stay. And that's what I want to strive to do eventually with the if I'm ever over some employees, I want to make sure they're happy, make sure that they're well compensated, and make sure they know from me as a boss that they are valued, because I think that's a lot of it is employers don't make known that they value their employees. So anyway, that's a little bit about chapter 3. So have a good one.